Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tkyosam. Papa Tykyo reacts to Japan videos. The last one I think I made was doing a Chris Abroad in Japan reaction. And that's good and everything. I'd like this to be like a mixed bag moving forward of like not just big creators but smaller creators too that I think like are pretty good and could use the extra attention and stuff and feedback. And I don't know, I miss old YouTube where people would make response videos or reaction videos to people and stuff. And so yeah, anyway, and I've got my Japanese notebook here, so I get to have fun. I get to study Japanese while watching a video, and I can give my feedback at the end. So yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Today's video is by expats. He is a dude who is, what is it? He has been in Japan for almost 20 years. He was a JET on the JET program, teaching English at public schools in the countryside of Japan. And now I think he works at a university, and he lives in Kanagawa or something, from what he said in his videos. And yeah, he's been in Japan for a while. He really loves it, and he does a lot of these videos where he walks and talks about stuff. And today is myths about Japan even foreign residents believe. And yeah, anyway, he's a really chill dude. I like watching his videos when I work out. I know, like, check out the guns, right? I've been working out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and usually when I work out, I'll either watch his videos or another guy in Japan called Real Rural Japan, because they do these like kind of walking, talking videos, and they're usually over 10 minutes long. And anyway, expats, I forgot. You got to think of it. Whenever like I say your name, I feel a little racist because it's got Jap in there. But anyway, yeah, you gotta like give me a nickname or something to call you. I know you're gonna be watching this video, but anyway, yeah. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Yeah.
What is good, everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Paul. I make videos about
Paul.
Japanese
Shit,
society,
sorry. Okay, his name's Paul. My bad.
From the viewpoint of a long-term foreign resident. Been here for 20 years, and today's topic is myths about Japan that even foreign residents like myself perpetuate. So 5 things I'm going to talk about, and these are things that people believe about Japan, but might not actually be true. They might be myths. This is going to be a little bit of a contentious one, I think. I think there's going to be people watching who are going to disagree with what I have to say. And if you
He's got the nose thing that Christian Bale has.
Let us know what you think. What did I get wrong? What counter examples do you have? Definitely want to listen to what you have to say, because honestly, the comments section is one of the most fun things about doing this channel. I learn a lot from you. I get some different perspectives.
I love reading my comment section.
To do this. Without further ado, let's get into the first myth. And that first myth that might surprise you is Japan is resistant to change. You hear this all the time. Oh, the Japanese don't change, don't want to change, can't deal with foreign ideas, etc. I'm just going to come out and say that
I don't think
as a generalization,
that might have been
true.
true.
Of course, there are going to be instances
a
where
lot before
systems, particularly bureaucratic systems,
but now it's better than ever,
or haven't changed very much. There's going to be examples where you can say, Japan has resisted changing in this way. But overall, I don't think it's true. I've been here for 20 years, and this place has changed a lot. The people have changed, the way things are done has changed.
My camera has this same issue, by the way, of making everything way too bright.
I just find from my own experience that there's always things that are going on dynamically in this country and this culture. Trends come and go. Japanese were very quick to adopt certain technologies, such as doing everything on their old flip phones back in the days before smartphones. Everything online was done on their phone. So they were ahead of everywhere else in terms of using mobile.
Yeah, you could watch TV online on your old phone.
My students in the university, if they live in an apartment away from their family, they don't have TVs anymore. Like, everything is online for them. And there's just so many other instances, like even the post office, which I used to joke was caught in the Meiji era because they used to not take credit card. Well, they take credit card now, and you fill out all of your international shipping information when you ship a package online. So they've got a full online system now. that they insist that you use. So
Yeah, that is a really good point. Yeah, like I remember like they used to have ATMs that were not 24 hours and I was like, "What the fuck? It's an ATM." I get it. They want to save electricity so they turn it off or something, but like I was like, "What the fuck?" like it used to be you couldn't use ATMs during the holidays and you couldn't use them during like they weren't 24 hours. Not all of them, but like a good portion. My bank was like that. And I remember, yeah, the post office, when I started doing my Patreon packages for the first time, you couldn't use a credit card. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's like Japan, they still love using fax machines just a little bit. I don't see it that bad, but yeah, I like that he brought that up.
the whole idea Japan is resistant to change, yes, in these certain areas or sectors, but as a generalization, I don't think it stands up. All right, the second myth that even foreign residents in Japan perpetuate about Japan is that Japanese are somehow surprised or shocked that you speak Japanese, or just never expect that you'll speak Japanese.
Yeah.
What's my evidence that this is a myth? My daily life. When I interact with Japanese clerks, shopkeepers, you name it, I'm out and about, if I talk to people on the bus, etc., I'm not experiencing shock or surprise at my Japanese. It just ends up being two people having a normal conversation in Japanese, and no one bats an eye over the fact that I'm using Japanese. Now, of course, there's going to be certain instances of
I think. Wait, I don't mean to like. I don't want to be one of those guys who pauses like the video every 2 seconds, but I just wanted to interject while I remember. I'm doing that tattoo project, right, where I go around to every prefecture in Japan and get a tattoo in that prefecture. And there were times like when I was in Aomori or Iwate specifically, and I went in there and I was talking to these people, and they'd say like something like "Nihongo wa jouzu desu ne," like your Japanese is really good, and I would always tell them I'm like well like you don't need to. You don't need to, like, what is it? Like, in Japanese, they say you don't need to grind the sesame seeds. Gomasuri. Like, that's basically a way of saying, like, kissing ass or complimenting. Just throwing compliments out there. But they'd be like, no. But, like, you don't understand. And I was like, look, dude, like, I know that they have, like, trainee people and stuff. Like, I remember I did a job in, like, I think it was Gifu Prefecture or something. And, this was to help foreign workers start working at a Japanese factory. And I remember going into town and just I went to the supermarket and I was asking for something. I forgot what exactly it was, but I was like, "Hey, do you have this?" And like, "No." And they're like, "Wow, your Japanese is so good." And I was like, "Dude, your town is full of foreigners. Like there's a good portion of them. You're saying none of them speak Japanese?" And they're like, "They do, but they suck at it." Your Japanese is the best Japanese I've heard, up until now with foreigners. And I really wear that as a badge of pride because it's like some people kiss ass, but like some people, it's not surprising that you speak Japanese. But when you get to a point where you speak really good Japanese, and like it's not just like, you don't just pass the communication check, you pass the vibe check as well. And yeah, but like if you're, I don't know, like if you're going to the convenience store or something, you're just talking, then maybe they don't care. I realize like when you're out in the countryside and you're just trying to get shit done really quick, people are just like, oh, they don't want to be rude. They don't want to be like, oh, Nihongo Jozu or whatever. They're just like, oh yeah, of course. Like when I was in Chiba, when I would meet people, they're like, of course you should speak Japanese. This is Japan. But people in like Tokyo are like, oh yeah, like this is so international. We have to learn English. So anyway, yeah.
Of when this might be the case. So I don't want to call out this channel and say there's anything bad about it. In fact, I love this particular channel and watch quite a bit of the videos on it. But there's a type of video that Oriental Pearl does.
Oh,
where she's out
talking about Oriental
Japanese
Pearl. Oh,
by
fuck.
surprise that she speaks Japanese, or she kind of calls them out that, oh, I can totally understand what you were saying about me.
Yeah, but she goes to all the touristy places. That's why they're so surprised.
Interesting, I suppose, but I'm not a real fan of that type of video because it really isn't what I believe is the normal experience of being in Japan and speaking Japanese. what I think is really going on there is she's often filming those videos in touristy areas.
Ah, see, there you go.
Therefore, the shopkeepers, etc., that are in that area are 99 times out of 100 dealing with foreign tourists who are only in Japan for a week. And so, yeah, they might be surprised when someone who looks like me suddenly speaks Japanese to them. I do have this experience myself sometimes, like if I'm in Kyoto in a really busy tourist area. Recently went to downtown Yokosuka, which is the city just south of Yokohama. And Yokosuka is where one of the Navy bases is for the US. And most of the sailors and people stationed on the base are there for a deployment or a limited length of time. And so most of them don't speak Japanese, and you wouldn't expect them to. And so I have gotten surprised when I've been down there.
Okay, yeah, so he had the same
Japanese
experience. You go to the town where there's a lot of foreigners, but they don't speak Japanese, so then they get a little bit, whoa,
that's
yeah,
just not
okay.
the case. Now, Oriental Pearl, I love the interviews she does. She's got some really excellent videos. I'm just not fond of the whole surprise over her speaking Japanese, and I think the reason why I don't care for it is because I don't want it to be seen as something that's special or amazing or crazy. Oh my God, this foreigner can actually speak Japanese. I'd rather that the image for people is that it's just usual. Like, why wouldn't foreigners speak Japanese? It should just be seen as a normal thing.
Yeah, I'm pausing it again. I think that, like, overall, though, like, even though, like, Pearl's interactions with people and her videos are very, like, superficial, surface level, like, meeting you one-time conversations, I hope that they, like, in a positive, optimistic way of thinking, I'd like to hope that, like, those videos inspire more people to learn a second language, though, because it's, like, the best way to learn about yourself or the world is to learn about other people and other cultures as well. And so, yeah, maybe people might not get the same response of when they speak Japanese or something, but if it motivates you to learn the language, I'm all for it,
Now, speaking of speaking Japanese, probably one of the most common questions I get on the channel is, can you make a video about how you learned Japanese? What was your Japanese language learning journey? And I was thinking that, yes, that video is probably long overdue, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to film it, and then I'm going to first release it on my Patreon page. So if you are a member over there or would like to become a member,
I'm a member of his Patreon.
My language learning video will be there first. Yes,
I'm a dollar menu, but I still want to contribute.
Probably in a more shortened version, because I try to keep my YouTube videos under 20 minutes at least. But if you want to get the full video and first access to my Japanese journey, then yeah, go over to my Patreon. I will have that linked in the description below. With that little commercial out of the way, let's go into the third myth that even foreign residents perpetuate about Japan. And that is, we can excuse Japanese people for any kind of discrimination or discriminatory remarks, etc. Because Japan is an island nation, they're kind of cut off from the rest of the world, and they just don't know any better. It's not their fault. This is a common way that some people defend Japan if there's ever a cry of discrimination or discriminatory behavior. And it's just not true. This is not Sakoku, the Edo era, when Japan was closed to the rest of the world under penalty of death. Japan, as mentioned before, were quick adopters of internet on phones, and it's been an internet country as long as anywhere else. The Japanese media is always concerning itself with foreign affairs and reporting on things abroad. The Japanese are not cut off. This isn't a bygone era. We are in modern Japan, and the Japanese are very savvy about the world.
Okay, so what is he getting at here?
They consume content and media that helps them learn about the outside. Foreigners like myself have been knocking around Japan for many, many years. And just in honesty, to say that Japanese are just, they don't know any better and they should be forgiven for, being part of an isolated nation, that sounds like discrimination to me. Like, oh, they're just ignorant. Like, we can't expect the Japanese to know anything about the outside world.
They just ignorant.
What? Really? That's really condescending. And as I'm saying right now, I don't think it's true. Okay, the fourth
Wait,
myth
okay, so
about Japan.
so let me chime in on that. So, yeah, I'll openly admit I am a Japan apologist. When it comes to stuff that is discriminatory in Japan, I always look at Japan as I don't have a right to be here. I have a privilege to be here, but I don't have a right. I'm not the one who helped build up this country and make it so clean, so safe, make it so orderly. I didn't contribute to like the decades of that before I arrived here. So I always try to walk around with the mindset that it's like I'm a guest here. Like I'm a long-term guest. I'm a long-term house guest that's not leaving. And you got to remember your place. It doesn't matter. Like to me, I'm like, look, if I was born here, maybe I'd have a different mentality, but I wasn't. So I moved to Japan. They gave me a job. They gave me, I don't know, like Japan like gave me purpose, you know, like it made me like become the person that I am, like more fulfilled, like whatever you want to call it. Like I feel like more of like a complete being thanks to being in Japan. So like when I get somebody that's like racist or something where they're like, "Oh, you can't come in here," which is never. But if I saw something where they were like, "No foreigners," I would just simply ask, does that mean no foreigners or people that don't speak Japanese? And I don't think I've ever. Maybe I might have encountered that once, but like for example, this apartment, my apartment owner, he did not want to rent the foreigners. He had a friend who had rented out the Vietnamese people or Chinese people, and they wrecked the apartment. There was like black mold and just shit everywhere, and it cost them a lot, like thousands of bucks to do that. And so because of that, my owner didn't want to rent out the foreigners. But when I was at the apartment agency, I knew that there's a high chance that I'll be discriminated against because fucking bad apples, bad players like that fuck it up for the rest of us. And so I went in there with the mentality that like I'm going to have to bust my ass to get an apartment. Now, it's not ideal, right? Like you don't want to have to like prove that you're cool. But again, at the same time, I'm always walking around with the mentality that I'm a guest here. It doesn't matter if I get Japanese citizenship. It doesn't matter if I get a family here or whatever. Like I'm still inherently foreign, and I need to be okay with that, and I need to be okay with people thinking like that. And so, like until Japan becomes super multicultural, which I hope never happens, but if it does, Japan is still going to always be for Japanese people. But that doesn't mean that you can't be close to being Japanese. It just means that you won't ever be 100%, like what do you say, 100%, mitometa, like acknowledged as a Japanese person. But the point is like when I went in there, I was like, okay, I'm going to tell the owner that I was in the middle of collecting paperwork to become a Japanese citizen. I ended up not submitting the paperwork yet because I realized I don't want to become a citizen until I have kids here so they get a passport for America in case they ever want to go back. But when I told him at the time that I was applying for Japanese citizenship, that was the stamp right there to prove that I was Japanese, because like they won't let anyone become a Japanese citizen. You actually have to speak Japanese and have somewhat of a knowledge and understanding of Japanese society and culture in order to do that. And so for him, that was the proof in the pudding and stuff. But also, I got to talk to him over the phone, and you rarely get to have that with owners. So, and then I pushed my luck, and I told him I wanted a discount on rent, and he gave it to me because I was charming. So that was nice. But I mean, the whole point is that when people are racist or if people are xenophobic, you got to remember that most of these people, despite watching TV or whatever, they grew up not around foreigners, and if they did, they're very rare. Like they got like a small little taste, a small little crumb of foreigner, either like a Japanese, like a foreign teacher at their school or whatever. So if you see somebody being racist, you don't know their story. There's a big difference between a Japanese person just saying doing this versus getting fucking sucker punched by a black guy in New York just for walking around, you know? That's fucking racism right there. Here it's more of like, okay, I feel like you're going to be a burden to me, and I'm just simply going to get away from you. And that might be mean, but if you put in the effort to actually show that you're assimilating, even with me with my stupid fucking gaijin blonde hair and stuff, I don't know. It's just once you learn what these people expect, it's going to be a lot easier to get in with them. But yeah, when it's like, oh, Japanese people are racist, it's like, dude, this is their country. I never expect to be a CEO of a Japanese company here, because we've all seen how that worked out with Olympus and fucking Nissan and shit like that. But it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, know your place. And I'm okay with knowing my place as a foreigner here. If you want to change the world, go back to America and fucking stop all the violence and shit from happening there. Fix wherever you came from first, and then try to fix Japan. Because they're doing a pretty good job so far, in my opinion.
That foreigners and foreign residents perpetuate about this place is that the Japanese are shy.
They're shy.
Now, this one might seem like I'm splitting hairs or getting into semantics, but we kind of have to ask ourselves, what do we mean by shy? How would we define shy? And the problem with this is I don't think Japanese are shy because, well, first of all, they don't have some kind of shy DNA, like their genetic makeup just makes them more shy. That's ridiculous. But I would say that Japanese culture and society trains children from a very young age up into adulthood how to act in a Japanese manner, and those Japanese manners to Westerners like myself appear shy when compared to our own cultures. The Japanese, for example, are indirect. The Japanese want more harmony in a conversation and a social setting than Westerners might feel we need. So people use tatemae, or like basically they say what they think will help make smooth social interactions rather than their real opinion. And the Japanese rarely just come out and say, well, my opinion on such and such is this. So Japanese culture is causing Japanese to appear shy to those from other cultures. But I don't think Japanese are shy at all, because once you're part of the in-group, once you're nakama, once you have the friends and the acquaintances and you get together, like, they're no more shy than anyone else, really. The one other thing that makes them appear shy is the fact that there's a greater fear about making mistakes. We see this as English teachers, that our students feel like they can't speak English unless they say it perfectly, because they want to avoid embarrassment of being wrong or having said something incorrect. And as such, it's better to just be quiet rather than to try and speak and make a mistake. Ultimately, though, I would argue that this whole not wanting to make mistakes in English and therefore they don't speak is not shyness. It's that hesitancy to make errors, and therefore, they don't want to feel embarrassed. And I don't interpret that as shyness. Maybe you do. Let us know in the comments. But yes, I don't buy that the Japanese are, on average, as a generalization, more shy than anyone else.
God, imagine all the Japanese people driving by him. Like, look at all the greenery and stuff. It's just a white guy in a suit. Like, what is he with a camera? It's like, what is going on here? Yeah, that's funny. Like, he's got a little bit of like a Hannibal Lecter from the TV show, like, looks vibe going. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, like, that's one of the nice things about Japanese society is that, like, unlike America, they don't impose any of their shit on other people. It's very like protecting the vibes, protecting like the situational aura kind of thing. And so, yeah, but like when you become friends with Japanese people, they will tell you their blunt opinions about stuff. But yeah, it's more about saving face and keep letting things go smoothly. But yeah, the whole thing about perfectionists, I mean, like, that's why there's so much like anonymous hate on Japanese internet, though. Like, a lot of Japanese people that go online and they're pissed off that they couldn't say or express themselves, and then they just talk a lot of shit. This, like, Dave Chappelle's the Haters Club or whatever. Like, the whole country is full of Haters Club people just going online and bullying people, because they have this mentality that, like, if I can't succeed, then other people shouldn't succeed either. But again, it's like publicly they're afraid of like embarrassment or whatever, right? So they don't want to look stupid, but so they don't even try. I had this issue too, and then it's just like, but then it's like, fuck it. Like, every single time you fail, it's a learning experience. But yeah, some people, they just don't want to try. Let's keep going.
Okay, the fifth and final myth about Japan that even foreign residents perpetuate about this place is that it's hard to make friends in Japan. This one you'll see a lot in comments.
Yeah, it's hard
hear a
if
lot
you
from
try to make
people.
friends the American way.
And I do want to say one quick caveat about this, that there are definitely situations
It is a
where
pain in
it
the
might
ass,
really
though.
be difficult. For example, if you find yourself in really deep countryside, most of the population is much older than you, or at a different stage of life.
That's the
and
thing
that
too.
most
If
of
they're
the
too much,
people
they're
your
older
age
than
are
you.
married, etc. When you are not, in certain situations, it could be really difficult to make close friends in Japan. But for the majority of people who live here, they're in a place like Tokyo, Yokohama, Osaka, bigger cities, medium cities, and even smaller cities. It's not hard to make Japanese friends, honestly. It's hard to make Japanese friends the Western way. And what I
See,
mean by
hey,
that
I
is,
said it.
in America, we tend to make friends by, we strike up a conversation with someone, and
just talk to
you
people.
kind of hit it off, and you become friends, or you meet a mutual friend of a friend that they introduce you, and like you talk with them, and they're really cool, and so you become friends as well. And it's kind of more of an individual with individual basis in which we make friends. If you try to do that in Japan, yeah, that's going to be really hard. It's hard to make those individual connections. I mentioned before nakama, or inside group. That is the Japanese way to make friends. Japanese people, when they form a group or are in a group, then you make and forge those relationships in the group. You kind of have a good acquaintanceship with everyone, and you make some stronger friendships with some of them, and then you come out of that with friends. This is what the Japanese do throughout their school life. And you can do this too, even if you come over and you're not, an exchange student or something, you're already graduated in the working world, by joining other groups, hobbies, sports, interests, lessons. Join the group that does taiko drumming, or join a basketball group that meets twice a week, etc. You'll become friends with them, and that's how you forge your better friendships with Japanese people, the group-oriented way, which is much more the Japanese collectivist nakama, uchi soto, like insider outsider. And it's important to realize that this insider outsider thing is pretty strong, in that if you have a party in America, for instance, you'll invite your friends from the basketball group, and you'll invite your friends from the taiko drumming group, and they'll mix and
Not in
make
Japan,
some new
though.
friendships out of that.
Nope.
Japanese parties, barbecues, etc. are almost never that way. You don't mix the groups. You
don't mix the
here,
groups.
you're not
Worlds
there,
are colliding.
and
It's Georgie
you would
boy.
not have a barbecue where you invite both. If you did, it would probably start off where everyone stands in a circle and does the Jiko Shokai, self-introduction, and
I mean,
trying
you
to
can
figure
do it.
out
I'm
the
just saying,
hierarchy and,
you might
and
not.
the social
Not
relationships
Japanese people
between
don't do
them.
it that way.
And then even after that, they're probably going to end up, the basketball group's over in this room and the taiko group's over in this room, and they won't end up really mixing. Oh, there's the city chime. It is 5 o'clock. There's one other thing, just to kind of drive this point home. This is how Japanese society works on so many levels. I mentioned school before. The students in a Japanese school do everything with their class, meaning they have a classroom that they are in every class together with. Their math, their English, their social studies, they all take the same classes together.
Yep.
There's no going out in the hallway and mingling with the other students, and then you have a different group in your math class than you did in your English class. No, the teachers come to your room. You do everything in your classroom, and the teachers come to you. You even eat lunch in that classroom. This also extends out to social culture in Japan. For example, if you think of a Western bar or tavern, it's kind of an open space. You can sit next to people you don't know at the bar. There's lots of mingling possible. You go shoot pool or throw darts, etc. It's very easy to mingle with other people in a bar or pub type setting. Compare that to the Japanese izakaya, where you're at separate tables. You come in with your group, you eat and drink with them. A lot of izakayas are even divided. They have walls or screens in between the tables for privacy. And so there's no mingling in that sense. Probably the most extreme example of this is karaoke. In Japan, you go
I
to
like how
karaoke
those
with
kids
your
were just
friends,
like, "Hey,
you
what's
get a
up?" And he's like,
private
"I'm
booth
making a
that's
video."
soundproof from the other booths. and you sing with your group, and there's no mingling going on whatsoever.
Yeah.
In America, you just sing at the front of a bar full of strangers, and that could immediately be an icebreaker with people talking to you after you went up and sang a song, etc. So
Yeah, just to pause really quick. Yeah, no, I do agree that it's just like you don't mix the groups because you don't want to water down the groups. Like you want them to be solidified in their own like gangsterness. You know, it's like you wouldn't mix Rare and Konami games together. Because like it's like Super Smash Brothers. It's fun to mix everything together, but it doesn't capture the true essence of what the game is that those characters are being taken from. No matter if you copy the stages and the items and the characters, right? But as for this too, like he says, like you go to izakaya, you're separated by groups. You go to karaoke, you're separated by rooms. I don't like that, and that's the reason why if I ever go to izakaya, like if my friends come to visit Shinjuku, I always take them to these open air, like open studio room pubs where it's just like a big cowboy saloon or like one of those like Chinese restaurants you saw Jackie Chan fight in and like Drunken Master, just because I want to be around all these people like together, right? And same thing, like I go to only karaoke bars now where you sing in front of people, which they do have in Shinjuku's Golden Guys. So yeah, it's fun. It's good.
there's just so many more examples and instances where we can see that it's about the individual connections that you make in the West.
I love how he's
in
just
Japan,
walking
it's
down
about
some
the
random
connections
street
you
by
make
like a
within
little
your group
mountain.
and the tight bonds you form with that inside group.
Where is he?
Okay.
X-Japter,
mentioned,
Paul, tell me, where are you
You
in
might
this
disagree
video?
with some of these.
I mean,
If
don't
you do,
dox
by
yourself,
all
but
means,
like,
head
where
down
are
to
you?
the comment section. If you agree or disagree, either way, I invite you to hit like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. About 80% of you are not subscribed. And of course, share if you think this content will be of interest to anyone else that you know. I want to thank you so very much for watching this particular video, and I'll catch you in the next one. I drop one every single week, Saturday morning Japan time or Friday evening in US time. And I look forward to seeing you then. Peace.
What a fucking gentleman. Oh, man. Look at this classy guy. Anyway, yeah, Paul, great video. I look forward to these videos. I don't remember how old this video is, but I hope you pump them out more than once a week. Because I work out 3 times a week. So I demand 3 videos, bare minimum 15 minutes. They can be walking or driving videos. But, yeah, I really enjoy his videos. I love giving takes on this. And, yeah, I'd like to make more reaction videos like this. So, guys, if you like this dude's video, I'm going to put the link down as the top comment and in the video description. So go over, give him a subscription, and smash the like button for him. And yeah, if you want to see me do more reaction videos to Japan vloggers here, then let me know. And I got to go take a big shit. So see ya.